Thank you so much for tuning in, and happy Mother's Day. If you are watching on Sunday, I hope you all had a beautiful day, and remember that every day is Mother's Day. So today's video is a Dollar Tree DIY nautical decor, and I did put one of these out 2 weeks ago. If you haven't seen it, I'll leave the link below, but that one was a little bit more on the distressed and weathered side. This one is a little bit more put together, a little fancier. So I really hope that you enjoy this video and you stick around by subscribing to this channel. Once you hit that subscribe button, we instantly become best friends.
Did we just become best friends? Yep!
And please hit that notification bell so you know every time I post a video. Make sure the bell has that little parentheses around it so that you receive all notifications and not just my haul videos. So let's go ahead and get started. For my first craft, I'm going to start off with this sign from Dollar Tree, and even though it is so cute, I want to make it over, so I'm going to go ahead and remove that seahorse. I'm just using a regular little spatula, which I found in the hardware section of Dollar Tree, and this is going to lift some of the paper, so you can go ahead and sand that away if you're just going to paint it, but I am actually going to cover this up, so I removed everything that was on the sign, and I used these wall borders from Dollar Tree that was in the kids section, along with this Mod Podge and brush, which is also found in the school kids section of Dollar Tree. Now I'm going to add a really generous amount because this isn't thin paper. These are pretty thick wall borders like what you use in classrooms, and I'm going to do piece by piece, making sure that I'm really generous with my Mod Podge. Now I regret not painting the bottom black because eventually I do move these around and I leave a little space in between, but if you are doing this at home, make sure that you paint your sign black. Now I am playing around with the placement because I wasn't sure if I wanted them all to line up or if I wanted them to kind of be mismatched. In the end, I really liked how it looked when it was mismatched, which is why I'm saying paint the bottom black so that you allow yourself a little bit of space. Now I am getting the edges and pressing down because you do want this to look nice and flat. When I got to the end of my sign is where I realized that I really should have left some space in between, so I did start to lift the other pieces up and rearrange them. Be very careful with this because it does kind of break the paper up, so you might want to put these into place without Mod Podge first to see where you want them all to lay, but this is just trial and error like every other craft. So as I'm placing them back into place, I'm adding more Mod Podge and I'm making sure that the edges are nice and sealed in and covering everything with some more Mod Podge. You can wait until everything dries, but I decided to hot glue my seahorse back on there. It was originally seahorsed onto the sign, so I just went ahead and placed it in the middle. And now instead of cutting down the rest of that wall border, I'm going to go ahead and fold it so that the edges look nice and clean. So I'm going to add Mod Podge to the back of the sign and then fold it and make sure that my edges are nice and secure and sharp. So just push it in with your fingers, making sure that it's nice and tight, and do the same thing to the other side. Now I'm going to let it dry just like this. And at this point, you can go ahead and write whatever you want on here. You can do this with vinyl, but I decided to use wood letters from Dollar Tree. I spelled out Beach Resort and then gave them a coat of metallic spray paint, and then I hot glued them onto the sign. I usually prime my wood pieces before spray painting, but I liked the wood look, and when I was done, I had this really cool, inexpensive sign. For my next craft, I'm going to create this buoy lantern, which are inspired by my little buoy picture holders. So I'm going to start off with this box from Dollar Tree. I found this in the gift section and also the Mother's Day section, but they have this all year round. I went ahead and removed the string, and now I'm going to create 2 holes on each side. So I used my wood burner, but you can use an X-Acto knife. I just pressed it in and wiggled it around until it made a circle. In the end, the circle was a little small, so I would recommend a bigger one if you are going to be using Dollar Tree nautical rope. But regardless, it still got the job done with a little force, and this was the easiest way for me to cut a perfect circle. So now I'm going to take this box and spray paint it. I also got a box which kind of matched in size for the bottom piece. I'm going to spray paint it with Oxford Blue by Krylon, but because this is cardboard, be very, very light-handed. You can also just use acrylic paint, but I wanted this to look very, very flawless just for this one coat. Everything else I want to look a little messy. So I'm going to set this to the side. I'm going to work on the middle of it, and I'm going to use these adorable frames. Now, I originally bought this for another craft, but it's been done a few times, so I decided to use this for this because I thought the wood looked so cute. So I grabbed some pliers. You can use pliers, side cutters, whatever you want to remove those little prongs. These aren't like the regular frames from Dollar Tree. You actually have to pull up instead of pulling off to the side, but they do come off really easily, and I am saving the middle piece for another craft, so this will not be used in vain. So now I'm going to attach them using hot glue. Normally I do E6000, but for video purposes I'm doing hot glue today. I'm just making sure that I am allowing enough time for it to dry before I move on to the next piece. And then for the top, since I did kind of have to spread it out a little bit so that it fit perfectly, I am going to have to add some more hot glue to the other pieces, but that's okay as long as this is nice and straight. So I'm checking to see if everything is attached and then adding my bits of hot glue. So now I'm going to set this to the side and I'm going to work on my other pieces. I used some Dollar Tree nautical rope, which I found in the floral section. I tied a really loose knot and then I placed it into that hole. Now I'm going to use this stencil, which I found at Dollar Tree. You can of course add your house number or whatever number is important to you. For this, I used some chalk paint and a makeup sponge. The chalk paint, I believe I purchased at Walmart or Michael's, and the makeup sponge is from Dollar Tree. I'm just sponging this on. I don't want this to look neat at all. I kind of want this to look a little on the realistic side, so the messier it looks, the better, because it looks a little worn. Now that the number's on there, I'm going to add an accent color, and I use Tropic Orange, and for this I do not want it to be messy at all, so I'm using a sponge brush from Dollar Tree, and I'm just sponging this on. I don't want it to look perfect. I kind of want it to look a little distressed, so I'm not taping this, but if you want yours to be really neat, you can of course use painter's tape and do a nice straight line. So I did this to the top, and I also did this to the bottom piece so that it all kind of looks cohesive, but not at the same time. Now with the rest of the paint that was on my brush, I just added some light pieces onto the actual middle of the lantern as well, so it looks like weathered wood. And when I was completely done, it was time to attach. So I did this using hot glue, but normally I would recommend E6000. Make sure that it is completely straight when you add everything. And you can go ahead and add whatever decor you want, and you have an amazing lantern. This next craft, I wanted to create a vintage scuba helmet, so I used a terrarium planter, which I found in the floral section of Dollar Tree. I thought it was the perfect shape, so I gave it a coat of the same Oxford blue that I used for the lantern. Of course, you can paint yours whatever color. It would look really cool in a rose gold kind of copper color. I let it dry and I used this jar from Dollar Tree. Now I only used the lid, but you can go ahead and reuse the jar itself to make the same vase that I did in my last video. I'll leave that link below, but it's a great way to make use of that jar. So now I'm going to use some toothpicks to create the middle piece of my scuba helmet. I attached them using hot glue, but of course you can use your E6000, and I'm going to do this in sort of a hashtag shape. It's going to make it look a little bit more authentic, and of course you can use wooden stir sticks instead. They're a lot flatter, but I didn't have any. So once this is in place, I decided to go ahead and use the Dollar Tree golf set because it had this really cool bottom piece. Now I'm going to spray paint this blue. I decided to do this last minute to make it look a little bit more authentic. So now that I have this, I'm going to get my gold pieces and I'm going to add 2 tea lights that I've already burned down for the sides of the helmet. I'm going to spray paint this all gold so that the gold sort of matches a little bit. Once everything is completely dry, it's time to attach, and I'm going to take the top of my lid, add a generous amount of glue, and add the bottom of my terrarium to that just to give it a nice pop of gold. It helps with looking a lot more authentic, and it also helps hold it in place onto this top piece. So I'm going to add some hot glue to the bottom of that. Of course, E6000 would be a lot better. And I'm going to place that on top. My paint is really uneven because I thought I was going to distress this and make it look rusted, but in the end I decided not to. It's completely okay because I'm going to fill the inside with some greenery, and this is just 97-cent eucalyptus, I believe, from Walmart. You can add whatever you want to the inside or nothing at all. You can even add a little tea light, and now it's time to add the front part of this. If you want to add little hinges to it so that it opens and closes, you can do that as well. But I decided to just glue this in place. And now that I have that in place, I'm going to add my little side pieces with hot glue as well, one to each piece. You can skip this, but I think this helps it look a little bit more like a helmet. Totally up to you. And when you're done, you can add some more gold using this little deco color pen. I just wanted to add some details to the bottom. And when I was finished, I had these really cool and unique decor pieces. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Share this video with your friends. And as usual, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you all so much, and I will see you on the next one.